tools to charge up the electric car market.
Listen, we're driving towards a clean energy future.
As demand begins to cool, two teams fighting it out for a chance to challenge the Heat for the final playoff spot. And snapshots of a Miami man's life.
Because of that, I had this strong desire to become a pilot.
Show a dream taking flight. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Hawa Ezel. Today is Thursday, April 13th, 2023.
Live from the FIU Lee Kaplan School of Journalism and Media, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Swimming in rain, all of South Florida soaked, and conditions in Broward so bad, officials had to cancel school today.
Miami-Dade County Public Schools, however, are in session today.
CNN's John Lawrence takes a look at conditions across the area.
Several days of nonstop rain in South Florida, transforming roadways into rivers.
This is the deepest part about here.
On Wednesday, some areas, including Dania Beach and Lauderhill, saw more than a foot of rainfall in 24 hours, with Fort Lauderdale not far behind. The Fort Lauderdale-Hollywood International Airport had to close because the surrounding roads were flooded, and it will remain shut down until at least Thursday afternoon, according to officials there. The city of Fort Lauderdale tweeted that the city crews are working to mitigate issues and keep residents safe. Although the Broward Sheriff's Office is advising residents to stay indoors and off the roads if possible, some people had to deal with the wrath of Mother Nature. The mayor of Hollywood, Florida, Josh Levy, told CNN that, quote, "This is the most severe flooding he's ever seen." And it could be a while before things start to dry out. The Weather Prediction Center says strong to severe storms in the Texas area could be heading eastward Thursday and Friday. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
A federal appeals court temporarily blocks a Texas judge's order that would have suspended FDA approval of medication abortion drug mifepristone. This comes after U.S. District Judge Matthew Kaczmarek ruled last Friday in favor of halting the FDA's 23-year approval of the drug. The appeals court ruling means the drug will still be approved for use, but some restrictions will definitely remain in place.
A vote planned for today in the Florida legislature to outlaw abortions more than 6 weeks after conception. The pending vote brought protests yesterday. Members of the group Occupy Tally protested in the Capitol. The proposal, which has been passed by the state Senate, would not only target physicians who are performing abortions, but also women who choose to take part in the termination of pregnancy.
New laws in Florida are also limiting who can attend drag shows. The network's Tanissa Senior has more on a recent event at FIU.
The state of Florida is currently debating Senate Bill 1438, which aims at banning minors from attending drag shows and, I quote, adult live performances.
Drag is considered an art form and a core part of the LGBTQ community, history, and culture. Worries circulate that the bill threatens pride parades and other LGBTQ-friendly celebrations.
When you go into these drag shows, you see not only people from that community, but allies kind of like coming together to appreciate the art behind it, the beauty behind it, the love behind it. Because again, drag shows, they take a bunch of effort to even pull them together, to create the art, the makeup, the outfits, and it's just a way of just appreciating the beauty that goes behind our history.
Coincidentally, Florida International University Pride Student Union hosted second annual drag show. Drag queens and attendees used it as a chance to advocate against the bill and ignite the fight for drag.
I have to tell you, the fight has to get really loud and really proud really soon, because they're trying to erase us from the history books, they're trying to erase us from modern culture, they're trying to take drag away from all of you, and I don't think that's very nice of them to do that. So are we going to fight for drag queens?
The bill defines adult live performances as any show, exhibition, or presentation in front of a live audience in which, in whole or in part, depicts or simulates nudity, sexual conduct, sexual excitement, or specific sexual activities such as lewd conduct or the lewd exposure of prosthetic or imitation genitals or breasts. Senator Clay Yarborough later modified the bill by banning government entities from issuing permits for events that feature such performances. Any business that violates the proposed bill risks losing their license, is subject to hefty fines, and a misdemeanor charge.
This is how people express themselves at the end of the day. The same way they tell us you have to be 21 to drink and check IDs, they don't close bars.
The amended bill will soon return to Senate for a vote, but a date has not yet been scheduled. Reporting from Florida International University, I'm Tanessa Senior.
Buckle up! The car culture in America is evolving, and new proposed rules from the EPA could move the country along faster. Strict new tailpipe standards, if approved, will see that most passenger cars go electric within the next decade. The Biden administration's aggressive moves present a show of force in battling the climate crisis. As the network's Gabriela Perez reports, they say will strengthen jobs and the economy while reducing reliance on foreign oil.
Buckle up as we are making our way to a cleaner future. Wednesday, the Environmental Protection Agency proposed new car emissions that will require electric vehicles to take over 2/3 of new cars sold in the U.S. by 2023.
Well, listen, we're driving towards a clean energy future.
Transportation is the biggest source of greenhouse pollution in the U.S., with light-duty vehicles accounting for 58% of those emissions. EPA Administrator Michael Regan says the goal is not only to tackle the sensitive subject of climate change, but to strengthen the U.S. economy long term.
This is a really exciting proposal that codifies the president's vision for an electric future that wins the day in manufacturing and jobs as well.
Not everyone is ready to drive towards this change. Nearly 41% of Americans polled by Gallup last month and said that they will not cave in to buying an electric vehicle.
We see that consumers are really responsive to EVs when they get their hands on them.
The White House is in hopes that tax incentives will help Americans to electrify, like offering a credit of up to $7,500 for new car purchases. If approved, the emission standards would start models in 2027 vehicles. For South Florida Media Network, I'm Gabriela Perez.
The Heat now know their next opponent.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Since I was little, I always knew that I wanted to become an airline transport pilot.
Dreams taking flight for a local pilot. His story in pictures next. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
In the air, a South Florida pilot making his big dreams come true. His life told this morning in photographs.
Here's more through the lens of photojournalist Stephanie Calandriejo.
Since I was little, I always knew that I wanted to become an airline transport pilot. My name is Luigi Alonsi. I am originally from Venezuela. Approximately 5 years ago, my family and I, we had an amazing opportunity to move to the United States to start a new life. My dad was the beginning of that dream. I know that every time he will go on travels, he will bring me airplane toys and I will always play with them. And because of that, I had this strong desire to become a pilot. I had the opportunity to start working in a restaurant as a server. I also got enrolled into a community college in order to start the beginning of my career. One of my biggest accomplishments is that I was able to manage my time with job, attending school, and also obtaining every single of the licenses that were part of the program. Right now, I am a commercial pilot and a certified flight instructor. And I feel that all the hard work, all the passion that I put in this career is finally paying off. And I am closer and closer to achieve my biggest dream in my life, which is becoming an airline transport pilot. Now that I'm here, I was able to apply for United Airlines, and I'm proud to say that today I am part of the United Aviate program. I never had a doubt that I was not going to achieve my goal because it was always in God's hand, and I also received constant support from my family and my fiancé. Dreams do come true.
Executive Tower, November 974 Delta Bravo with you on the localizer runway 9 requesting low approach.
974 Delta Bravo is at the tower. Would you like a low approach back to Miami?
Low approach and back to Miami, affirmative, 4 Delta Bravo.
Turning to sports, the Miami Marlins were able to take the comeback and take the series against the Philadelphia Phillies after being blown out in the first game. The Fish are starting to show that they can play against anyone and win. They have that fight in them that even after a heavy loss, they can still come back and beat the Giants like the Phillies. It wasn't an easy win though. The game went to an extra 10th inning after being tied 1-1, and that's when Brian De La Cruz won the game with an RBI single. The final score of the game was Marlins 3, Phillies 2. The Marlins come home to face the Arizona Diamondbacks in a 3-game series starting tomorrow at 6 p.m.
And the Heat know who they will face off against on Friday for the second game of the play-in tournament. With the Chicago Bulls taking the win over the Toronto Raptors, the Bulls will come to Miami to play the Heat. And that may be all thanks to the Bulls player DeMar DeRozan's daughter, who would scream at every free throw the Raptors would attempt. They only made 18 out of 36 free throw attempts, costing them 18 points. The final score was Bulls 109, Raptors 105. The Bulls will play the Heat on Friday at 7 for a chance to go to the playoffs. You're watching SFM's Newsbreak, and we'll be right back.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
I help our fellows design their paths as creative entrepreneurs.
My experiences serving startups, creative businesses, and cultural organizations, and my journey as a queer mixed immigrant with Haitian and Arabic roots, inform the co-creative environment we foster at Radcliffe. We leverage our collective diversity to encourage the building of lifelong personal learning networks and mindsets that stimulate continuous innovation.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Hawa Ezel.
And I'm Julian Davis. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.